Welcome to Visualize, the podcast where collaboration fuels change. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and each week we'll explore incredible connections between nonprofits, businesses, and the community. This is a space where we highlight inspiring partnerships, uncover strategies for creating meaningful impact, and share stories that show how working together can make all the difference. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, a business owner, or someone just passionate about building connections, this podcast is for you. Because I think that's a lot of times that's where things get a little messy. Like they don't either have somebody to connect them to the other partner and kind of keep that moving. Oh, that's brilliant. I love this. Awesome. Okay. So now I'm going to switch the gears just a tish.
Yes.
All right. So what are some of the challenges that sometimes you have to face when, putting this together?
We can continue using the analogy and say everybody shows up not only with this mashed potatoes, but on peeled potatoes.
Okay, they're not prepared. Got it. Yeah, they're totally not prepared.
And jokes aside, I think some of the things that have been hard for me particularly to accept is that not everybody wants to collaborate. Mm-hmm. That's number one, right? Like at the beginning, I was idealistic enough to think they just don't know how. They just don't understand why. But the reality is that there's some ventures that they just want to compete. They want to be the best. They want to be, they want to do their thing. They want to attract people. So now I understand that some folks, they just don't want to. Sure. Then there's other folks that do want to. They don't know how. And there's some of us that know how to do it quicker or better, right? So now I know that it is important to recognize that and to understand the value and the role that each of these ecosystem players can play when it comes to collaboration. But it's taken a lot of tears and a lot of sweat and a lot of frustration sometimes of us trying not to compete, especially in the for impact space.
Right.
And realizing that there's some folks that they just don't want to, or that they want you to come into their space, and that's the way that they would collaborate, right? So it requires one of our values, that's impact versus ego. So if you want to be the host of this, if you want your logo out there, if you want to be the lead organization, amazing. Let's do it. Radical Partners will be behind the scenes, sometimes on scene, so that the thing happens. So that is a challenge. And I think the lesson learned there is that collaboration requires not only the desire, but it requires infrastructure, it requires money, and it requires patience. Because oftentimes these things take time, and that is okay. And you need to know that from the beginning, because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. And I think one of the things that comes to my mind a lot of the time, if they're in that mindset of not wanting to collaborate, it's that scarcity mindset where they think that there's not enough funds out there, there's not enough resources. But I really truly believe in my heart that when you do actually put the effort to collaborate, you're maximizing all of your efforts and you're going to get 4, 10, 20 times back in the long run, instead of just seeing that narrow scarcity vision where some people are currently at. So I hope more people open their mind and to the ability of, let's just try it. It might be scary at first, but it's worth it at the end, because I really do feel that collaboration is way more impactful than competition.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think that, yes, some people and some of us have scarce mindset sometimes, or it's fixed. And if it's fixed, we're not going to be able to change that, right? So we need to understand that. But the majority of us have learned that what we need to do is to grow our own venture, right? Especially if you went to school. What do they teach you? Budget this, grow this, increase your team, increase your budget, So then it is a very capitalistic approach. I don't mean it with a negative connotation of success is growth and success is expansion. And success has not been historically defined as collaboration.
Yeah.
And that the reach is not necessarily vertical growth. Maybe my success is now we're 5 of us and then we can reach 5,000 people, right? So there's an element there that in the business world hasn't been the modus operandus. And what I encourage people is, yes, to go there, but especially folks in the 4 impact space, there is no point for us to compete.
Right.
Because if we're truly successful, we should stop existing at some point. Or some of our organizations should stop existing at some point because we were successful in not having any homeless folks out there. That is success to us.
I agree. I completely agree. And so, any organization that's helping the homeless, they should be working together.
Yes.
Constantly, because that's the only way that we're going to combat this and actually make a bigger impact so that we don't have this struggle anymore. Everyone has a home. Everyone's safe. I love the words that you use there because it really resonates with me, and it resonates with what I'm trying to do here on this podcast, because we really want to make that change in the mindset and make a difference. But you're right. Success should be looking at eliminating the what your mission is all about. Like, are we close? If not, find ways to collaborate and let's work towards this end. We don't want these organizations to have to be here.
Correct.
Wow.
And I mean, that's obviously this utopian
yeah.
monkey that I have in my brain, right? So ideally, some of you will do it for those reasons. Some of you might not. And it's still smarter, as you said. It's like, why are 5 organizations struggling to, how do you say that? Make ends meet? And then so that all of us can hire one accountant. All of us can have our own lawyer. All of us can have... No, just hire one accountant between the 5 of you, right? It cuts the price in 5 and you can have one person. So if you're not doing it for the impact or the kindness only, do it because it's smart.
Smart business.
And smart business. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually something that I didn't even actually think about until just now, but that's very smart business. Why not create this coalition that, all right, these several organizations are all here. They're all, working together. Maximize your budget this way. Oh my gosh. I love that. Wow. Okay. You're giving me so much to think about in so many different ways, which is absolutely brilliant. So thank you. Okay. If you haven't heard about Radical Partners, you need to go check them out. This is acceleration at high level. When you say accelerator, I get it. This is hey, you ready to go to the next level? Here we are. Let's make this happen. Okay. What is some of the upcoming projects that Radical Partners is working on besides the 10 days of connection that's coming up here very soon? What other things are going on here in the future?
A lot of things are brewing right now. I think every industry and every moment goes through changes, right? But in this particular moment in time, it feels like a COVID deja vu, where with a new administration, things are shifting, and then everybody's rethinking what are going to be my revenue streams, what is my impact in this part of the world. So we're brewing a lot of those initiatives to, first of all, sustain the leaders, Chris, because in moments of crisis where I don't know where my revenue will come from or if people will show up for my programs, etc., the leaders themselves, let's not forget that these are people that oftentimes are also suffering through the same things that they're helping people go through.
Yeah.
So there's work that we need to do to sustain them. And that is some wellness, some well-being, some mental health resources that we provide for free. Sometimes that's a call. Sometimes that's a moment for us to debrief together. But it's also a moment for us to rethink, again, do we start merging some organizations? Do we start sharing services? So there's a lot of co-creation right now in the Radical Partners space. And hopefully, if you follow along on social media or on our website, we will be announcing some of those in the summer or in the fall. For the ventures. So that's it if you are in the 4 impact space. If you are in the 4 impact space and you're like, what are you talking about? The world is awesome. Great. We can help you too. So if the world is looking awesome to you and you have an organization that is trying to impact the world in one way or another, you have a vision, we can help you make it happen. What does that look like? We can help coach and upskill your team. We can train your team on budgeting, on fundraising, on joy at work, etc. Right? Like there's so many things that we can do there. And then last but not least, if you are a regular citizen and you're like, I don't know what this woman is talking about, but I kind of want to do something in my community. The beautiful thing is that if you go to our website, it's like opening a new door to so many different organizations. We have an alumni huddle of almost 200 leaders, including several Broward folks, that once you start clicking on their faces and their organizations, you will find a beautiful poetry festival. You will find an international food things that you can start leveraging to step outside of your own comfort zone and improve your life for free.
Oh my gosh. Who doesn't want that information, that ability to, go learn something new and get some self-care? Because honestly, when you're doing some amazing work out there in these, you call it for impact. I always call it nonprofit spaces, but for impact, I love that. You're doing a lot of work. You may be wearing a lot of hats. You may get burned out. So taking care of yourself is super important. And I love that you have ways to give back to these individuals. That's very, very helpful. So, wow. Okay. So how do people reach out to you? Phone number, website, email, to the organization.
So I will not share my phone number just in case.
Maybe not yours, but maybe let's use the phone number for the...
Yes. So many places to go. But if you want to do Radical Partners, which is kind of like the larger umbrella, you can find us in any social media platform at Radical Partners. And our website is also radical.partners. So as long as you have those two words together, you will find something where you can follow. If you're interested in the 10 Days of Connection in particular, you can also find 10 Days of Connection in all social media platforms, including YouTube, where you will gain some inspiration of what has happened in the past. And we're about to start ramping up our campaigns for this year. And remember, it's not just the 10 Days of Connection. The 10 Days of Connection is also going to open up doors for different organizations, different leaders, and different community happenings that you can either participate in or copy in a good way and borrow the ideas to host your own thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me in particular, if you think I'm funny enough and worthy enough of your attention, I also have my website is jogodoy.co. And I have Instagram and LinkedIn where you can find me.
There's so much information and my mind has been blown by what you guys are offering and what you guys are doing. So this is fantastic. And this knowledge needs to be out there for the community to understand and have these resources available. So yes, thank you so much. All right. So on to our last question.
Okay.
What is the legacy that you personally hope to leave for future generations?
That change making is cool.
Ooh.
At least for those of us 30 and up, I think we're used to this third sector concept of the private sector. It's flashy, it's innovative, it's successful, it's fast. Then you have government, it's slow, doesn't move, and then the nonprofit sector, as you're calling it, or the for impact sector is beautiful and so full of love and kind and service and not necessarily efficient. So when we combine these three things, what I want my own legacy to be is that you should be able to pursue whatever you want to do in your life, whether that is being an influencer, a fashionista, or whatever, and use that towards change making and improving your community in a sustainable way that allows you to eat whatever you want and wear whatever you want, and look super cool as you're at it, because you're successful, you are living your life, and you're improving your community. And I think when we combine those three things together and have fun while we're at it, I think that would be a good legacy to live in the world.
That's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Joanne, thank you so much for being on the show today. This is amazing. I'm going to have you back on because you're going to make me laugh. And that's fantastic. You had a really good...
I'm here for it. And my cheesy moment, Chris, is to thank you for this, because the thing that we do the least is talking about our work. So I really appreciate that you're building this platform in such a purposeful way, because I know some other For Impact folks are following this show and coming to sit on this table. So we really appreciate the push and the opportunity to brag about our work, which is something that we're not very comfortable to do.
I think you should, and I'm glad that this platform is here for you. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Visualize. We hope that the inspiration and practical insights can help you foster stronger connections and meaningful change. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and leave us a review. To learn more about Visuals by Momo and how we support collaboration and storytelling, visit visualsbymomo.com. A huge thank you to everyone out there listening. Until next time, remember, collaboration fuels change, and your connections can inspire the world.